Alright everyone, so today we're gonna talk about Wallbreaker Boy, this guy right here, the new fragment champion that you can get right now in Raid, and the question is obviously, is he worth it? Should you invest your resources to get him or not? Now we're gonna look at this today from the perspective of a free-to-play account, and especially an account that is maybe not quite in the end game just yet. So let's go a bit over the details of what KROZ actually brings to the table, where he's specifically good at, and then you can make a good decision if you should invest your resources or if you should rather keep them and wait for the next champion, for the next event or whatever else you're aiming for. So let's take a closer look. So I gotta admit that I'm a little bit torn on him myself. Now obviously I'm playing on multiple accounts. I have my main account that is very much so in the late game, but currently on this channel we're focusing more so on my free-to-play account. And at the end of the day, what KROZ essentially is just simply another bomb champion, and a good one at that. If you have Tuhanarak, for example, then you're just generally very familiar, and you probably don't really need him, but I would assume that most people that currently watch this don't have him. So what actually does he do? At the end of the day, when we're breaking down the abilities here, the main thing is that he dishes out his damage through bombs. We actually covered bombs in the recent video that I released through items, where bombs just scale off attack and not of crit damage and crit rate. So you build them a little bit differently, just very heavy focus on attack, which is also the reason why when you look at his normal abilities, he is obviously an attack champion. Now, it essentially all centers around this A2, where you apply bombs to your opponent. So this is the first one that you actually do. And you have a couple of Terminator mechanics that he's running, for example, just here on his passive. But when you're looking at his A1 and at A2, they apply additional debuffs. In the case of the A3, we're applying a block active skills. And we also have a chance of decreasing the detonation countdown. The same is also happening on the A1. The A1 only hits one target, but has 3 connects. And with that big of a chance, you're essentially guaranteed to reduce that and have some really immediate damage. But, as I already said, when we're looking at it, it is essentially a bomb champ. So you can do a lot of damage with him, and then it becomes a question, where exactly do you want to use him and what do you want him for? Now, one of the general consensus for most of the people that already have a bomb champion or that are in the late game is that where he will excel in particular is Ogryn tribes, specifically when we're talking about faction wars in hard mode. Because hard mode doesn't really... Hard mode is pretty tough. It's probably the toughest content that you currently have in the game. And the Ogryn Tribes faction doesn't really have that many great champions, which is a bit of a problem. So depending on how lucky you were with your pulls, you're probably struggling there, especially when it comes to dishing out reliable damage and keeping everything alive. Someone like a good bomb champion and like KROZ here can really help you there. Now, the question obviously becomes immediately, is that then really worth it for you, or do you need him somewhere else? Now, people obviously play around with Arena a lot. My personal opinion is that in Arena, bomb champions, while they can be quite a bit of fun, maybe overrated is the wrong word, but they are a little bit more gimmicky than other champions that, you know, rely on raw damage that we have out there. So while it can be kind of nice, I don't really think that this is a high priority for anybody that wants to use a champion in PvP. Now again, if you are very much so in the late game and you want to have something where you can play around with it, works a little bit differently, this might be interesting, because in those cases you normally also have the resources that you need. But if you are in the early stages of the game, I would argue, while this champion, if you get him, can really help you. You can get a lot of damage out with your bombs. He can also help you with the block active skills. So when talking about Doom Tower and when you're talking about Cursed City, this can be super helpful. It's not only the faction wars where he's effective. So I'd say if you have the resources to spare at the moment, you can definitely go for him, especially if you're lacking a damage dealer that might be able to help you throughout these areas. At the same time, if you're generally a little bit low on resources and you're not quite sure if you can get him, I would probably not go for him. Currently, I'm still a little bit on the fence, but I honestly think that for my free-to-play account, I'm not going to make that jump, simply because the game is full of really good damage dealers, and I believe that the resources that I have currently are better saved for something later down the road where I can actually get a champion that complements my own lineup a little bit more directly. So I don't have a bomb champion on this account yet. If I was a little bit later, if I was, I don't know, maybe a couple more months in, then maybe this would be more interesting to me. But at the current case where I am, I don't really think that I'm going to go for him. But we talked in the past actually about a couple of other champions, and I said like clearly, okay, this is a skip for me, this isn't. He's someone where I'm a little bit more on the fence. So if you're currently looking for a bomb champion, I would definitely go for him. If you're lacking a good damage dealer that can help you in PvE content, I think this is a solid option if you have the resources. But if you are not dependent on this, he could be a skip. But he will be somebody that can help you for sure, and he also will be somebody that even in the end game is going to be useful for you, because we're talking about faction wars. You get a lot of your high-level glyphs there, obviously. I mean, it's going to be a very big area for you. So if you feel like this is something where you really want to push immediately, then this is a champion to go for. So it's not really oh my god, you gotta get him, he is insane, and neither is it a skip. It's very much so a question of what exactly you want. He's a very solid champion. He's a good champion. He's somebody that specifically for the Orcish Tribes faction will be helpful to you. And having the additional debuffs like block after skills and also the stun that he has on his A1, this is another nice benefit for him. So if you don't have to go too far out of your way in order to get him, I would say for most people this is probably something that they should at least consider. But again, if you're a little bit early and you don't really know if you have a couple of nice damage dealers and your lineup just lacks other things, then I would maybe consider skipping and waiting. But he is a solid champion, so I hope this helped a little bit. And of course, it also depends very highly if you still need a bomb champion. I, for example, have Tuhanarak, I have Warmother on my main account. I think I've even one. Ah, yeah, exactly. I have the Jester guy. I forgot his name. So I have a couple of bomb champion already on my main account. Orcish Tribes, we'll see, but generally speaking, I think on the main account, he's a skip for me. I'm going to save my resources for something else. On the free-to-play account over here, I have to really see if I can actually go for him, if I have enough. And even then, I'm currently tending to skipping him because I don't think I need him right now. I will need something like him a few months down the road, maybe a year down the road. But in that time frame, I hope that I actually pull something and we will have other champions. That's where I currently stand. So guys, let me know what you think about him. Are you going to go for him? Do you think he's a skip? Or what's your personal opinion, and where you would you see are his best areas? For me personally, it's Faction Wars Hard and also Doom Tower plus Cursed City. But again, if you have anything else that you can chip in here, let me know. And let me know if you're actually going for him or if it is a skip for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.